the result of that was this: how to have an outstanding career. And actually, the thing about the book, How to Have an Outstanding Career, is it is my experiences. It's what's come to me from life. And it started actually as a teenager, and I never realised so much was inside me, those experiences, that I really felt quite strongly other people could benefit from. And then all my years actually working, both as a trainer and consultant, working with people in organisations, not only did I have my own experiences, but I was absorbing all theirs as well. And this is the result of it here. When I was 13, I wanted to be a doctor. I felt passionate about being a doctor. I love the sciences, I love people, and I could imagine myself as a doctor. I really could, and I used to imagine myself as one. But by the time I got to about 17, I realised I wasn't going to get the grades, and I had to think of something else. And I still to this day can remember being in the library at school, trawling through that university book, looking at what courses all the universities ran and what course was I going to do. Interestingly, although now I'm a psychologist, I completely rejected psychology. The one that caught my eye was dietetics. I was going to be a dietitian. I applied, I got a place, I got the results, the exams. I went off to my local authority and said, could I have a grant please? And they said, no, it's a 4-year course. We won't give you a grant for 4 years. And I was absolutely gutted. I was at a loss. I hadn't been a doctor, I'd got over that one. But actually I really wanted to be a dietitian, and I couldn't do that, and I didn't know what to do. My very good friend at school, who's going to be with me when we launch at Waterstones, her mother said to me, have you thought about personnel management? I didn't even know what it was. At the time I was working for Marks and Spencer's. I had a Saturday job when I used to work in the holidays, and they offered me an opportunity for their management training scheme, and I thought, how can I go from sort of 16 years old for the rest of my life working for one company? No, I rejected that. Investigated personnel management, which today is called HR, and I did a diploma, and I started my first job, and I was chuffed to bits. I really was. But then I began to realise that perhaps it wasn't quite me. There was a bit too much admin in it. I wanted more of the personnel, the people stuff. Plus, I had this unfortunate thing where I just seemed to be plagued with quite difficult managers. Yeah, everyone has it. One of the things I'm always saying to people, you've got to manage your manager. I didn't know that then. I know that now, and that's in the book, but you've got to manage. I had one that was an alcoholic. I thought it was fabulous. We went to the pub every lunchtime. I really did, you know, my very naive, early experience, but it wasn't right, you know. And then I had another one who was a pipe smoker, that we were in a tiny office and he disappeared behind the smoke. I had another one that felt quite threatened by me, because actually I was very ambitious. And it became a big problem, and I started to get quite disillusioned, both with my work and just working in this office environment, to the extent that 5 years into my career, I left. I gave the whole thing up. In that 5 years, I'd made some decisions, I'd gone for promotions, and in fact, I'd climbed the ladder, I'd done quite well. But I hadn't always made the right decision, and I think that was because I didn't have anyone to help me, to guide me. I didn't have anyone that could actually cope with me, I think also. Because of this drive, this ambition, this sort of wanting to progress a career. And it's that really that's come in to why I wrote this book, and I think why, when I actually sat down, and it was last September I met Chris, and we're here today in April, and I've written the book, and we've had the 3 months project management, it was there. It all came out, and I couldn't believe it. The interesting thing is, those were my experiences. Are they any different today? And this is the thing I get asked all the time. You know, I've particularly targeted my book, and in fact, as you can see there seems to be a theme today, the young professional guides. There's going to be a few of them, but I've targeted them at the age group of 21 to 32-year-olds, because that's when they're starting their careers. That's when they really, really need the help, but it's quite hard to find it. So if I just have a look, and this is where you can do with an extra hand, I'm just going to read a few things that I've just got from my book of why this book might be right for them. But actually, this really came from my heart and came from me. So, this book is for you if your career is so important to you that it defines the very essence of who you are. This is something I'm really seeing now in the workplace, that careers define people. You expect your career to be meaningful, and you're struggling to make it so. Your career has lost its way and is going nowhere. You're at a loss to know what is involved in building an outstanding career. You're bored and frustrated with your job. You feel lost and in need of direction. Now, that was me, absolutely me, and that's gone into that. But I actually know that's what's going on in the workplace at the moment, because that's what I hear when I'm out working there. There is a difference though, and there's something that's going on today that isn't going on when I was at work, or first working. The thing today is people have to be responsible for their own career. You cannot rely on your employer, you cannot rely on your manager anymore to help your career. You have got to grasp it, take responsibility, and drive it yourself. So that wonderful description of a career being a ladder, and you climb the ladder, which I actually did in those first 5 years, that's gone. A career now is like a climbing frame. You climb up, you might go down, you might go round. It's a climbing frame. The ladder has gone. It's also about your reputation, particularly now in this whole world of everything being so exposed with social media, airing your soul in public. You know, it's your reputation, it's your knowledge. Those are really important. Your image, all of that is going to build up who you are. But above all, and I think this is what's become really the heart of the book, is that we live in a really chaotic world now. The pressures, the demands, young professionals starting off in their careers are actually trying to do everything they can to grow their career, to deal with the competition, get where they want to do, reach their goals, but often at the expense of their own well-being. I am seeing more and more young people between the ages of 28 and 32 actually burning out because they don't know how to switch off. It's always on, always doing. And this is the key thing about this book and what actually distinguishes it. It's not a book to find a new job. It's a book to create an outstanding career, but one in which you don't crash and burn in the process. And that's what I call career resilience. So a resilient career is one that you can have it. You can have your cake and eat it. You can get that fantastic job. You can have that amazing career, but you've got to have a balance in your life, and it mustn't be at the expense of your life. And that really is what the book is covering. And that is the difference of why this book now has become a combination of my experiences and why I'm not quite sure if this is what Chris actually wanted me to write. I have a feeling he wanted me to write about myself, but I did it in a way without talking about myself. But it encompasses both me, but actually what I'm seeing is going on out there in the workplace at the moment. It's a slightly different book insofar as it's a how-to book, and just before I wrote it, I did a lot of research into what career books were like. Because actually, I'm not a career specialist. I'm a business psychologist. Interestingly, 10 years ago, I actually studied as a nutritional therapist as well. So although I never became that dietitian, I did actually study nutritional therapy. So I bring a very mind-body approach to the work I do. I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, I'm all those sorts of things. But what I wanted was actually to people just through the book be able to create that career that was outstanding. So it's full of questionnaires, exercises, tips, techniques, to the end that it even leads people to actually developing a plan of what they're going to do. And yes, in it is also how to manage your manager, as I said, because it's very, very important, as I learned through my own experiences. So the book, quite interestingly, it's a very bright colour. Chris gave me the shock of my life when he sent me through the proof of this, didn't you? Because he asked me, and this is one of the things, any of you that are the budding authors, Chris is wonderful at asking you what you would like, and you spend time, and you look, and you trawl, and you go through Amazon, and you ask people, and you go, yep, that's what I'd like my book to look like, and then the proof comes through, and it couldn't be more different. But actually, I absolutely love it. I really do. And I don't know if you've noticed, I've got shoes on tonight that match the colour. And the reason I've got these shoes on is the book is about having a bright career. And these shoes are the colour of my book that's going to walk you to that bright career. Yeah? I've even got the glasses on.
Oh, yes.
Yes! That I can see how to take you to that bright career.